Province of Palawan is an archipelago of over 1,700 islands in the far west of the Philippines. We explored the resort towns of Coron and El Nido and the capital city of Puerto Princesa. From Rojas City, we flew through Manila to Busuanga Island in the north of the province. We stayed in the center of Coron town. Never far from the water. Christmas was approaching, so the municipal park was full most days with people shopping or at the rec center watching basketball. Basketball is to the Philippines what soccer is to European and Latin American countries. There's a basketball court in practically every little village. And the Philippine University and professional leagues are the oldest in the world outside of the United States. The town is squeezed between Mount Tapias and the sea. The water and nearby islands are gorgeous, and the reason tourists come to Coron. During the COVID-19 shutdown, the provincial government and real estate investors surreptitiously reclaimed 22 hectares of land, erasing the previous waterfront. A federal lawsuit forced forfeiture in June of 2022, so it's been left a barren and rutted dirt slab. The municipal market was relocated to it, but something needs to be done to rehabilitate the rest. Mount Tapias can be ascended by climbing 720 steps. It's challenging, but reaching the Coron sign and overlook platform are pretty satisfying. Just east of Coron town, Maquinit Hot Springs is a bumpy ride on a narrow and rugged road that only gets more rugged along the way. Our ride was a motorized tricycle, very cozy for two people, but the most common mode of transport. The facility is basic but beautiful. A natural saltwater hot springs, Maquinit is carved out of a mangrove and connects right to the sea. And when you're tired of soaking in the spacious and soothing pools, you can go for a walk beside the mangrove. We took a fantastic boat tour while in Coron, but that's a story for another vlog. The Coron ferry port was just outside of town center. And after a surprise canine inspection, we boarded our ferry for El Nido. The ferry was a pretty easy 5 hours, with the only choppy spots when we left the shelter of the many islands. But we soon disembarked and after a short walk, we checked into our downtown hotel. El Nido's dramatic limestone cliffs and surrounding islands form a natural port that Chinese traders have been visiting for about 1,100 years. They also make for some colorful sunsets. One of the best things to do in El Nido is to climb up to the Tarao Cliff canopy walk. The start is pretty rugged, and my guide, of course, was wearing Crocs. The only place where you need to clip in is on the suspension bridge, which is built very sturdily and easy enough for kids to cross. The 250-meter cliffs are 60 to 250 million years old, and locals have been collecting edible birds' nests from their crevices for over 11 centuries, the highly prized key ingredient for bird's nest soup. Tourism and over-harvesting in El Nido, Spanish for the nest, have been causing a decline in the bird population. There were also concerns for the welfare of the climbers, who have one of the most dangerous jobs in the world. So climbing the cliffs for any reason is now highly regulated. Ascending further, you catch glimpses of what's to come. But until you see it for yourself, you just can't imagine the view of the bay from this spectacular precipice. An additional fee gets you to what's called the Dreamcatcher. But I kept thinking of J.R.R. Tolkien's giant spider Shelob. Having survived the giant spider web, the descent was also exhilarating. With narrow passages like these to navigate. Maremegmeg Beach is a 15-minute motorized tricycle ride south of town. A beautiful beach with gorgeous water in a mostly sheltered bay. Maremegmeg means very cold in the local Cuyunan language, presumably due to the constant breeze that blows. It's a perfect spot for a lazy stroll or a quick sprint. We spent most of our day beachside at the Maremegmeg Beach Club with a carafe of fantastic sangria and delicious food. The beach chairs were free as long as we consumed at least $10 worth from the restaurant. The nearby tree is 100 years old and has its own Instagram account. The nearby island is connected by a land bridge, as well as zip lines, with the option to go out and return to the mainland, so of course I had to try it. Reaching the platform was a good climb, about 300 feet up. And once I was harnessed, helmeted, and clipped in, it was time to go. I opted to walk back, which was almost as daring as the zip line itself, with steep and slick muddy steps. But once down, the rest was easy enough. If you do go to Maremegmeg Beach, be sure to stick around until sunset, because it is spectacular. We departed El Nido in a shared van, making a 5-hour trip in under 4 at breakneck speeds, including a lunch stop at the appropriately named Halfway Restaurant. Our Puerto Princesa hotel was wonderful. Family owned and operated. It was on a side street just off the main road. Breakfast was included, and you knew the eggs were always fresh. Puerto Princesa is the capital and largest city in Palawan, home to 1/3 of the provincial population. The buildings are pretty built up in the center, with lots of commercial and restaurant options, and minimal traffic outside of rush hour. But it gets really rural really quickly on the fringes. The provincial capitol building is worth a visit. The main lobby is beautiful and modern, with a Spanish colonial-style inward courtyard. The Philippines played a major role in World War II in the Pacific. Americans and Filipinos are buried side by side in the Manila American Cemetery, and several critical battles were fought in the islands. Palawan is the site of numerous World War II-era wrecks, and we dove the Okikawa Maru wreck in the 1990s. Just to the east of downtown Puerto Princesa, the Palawan Special Battalion World War II Memorial Museum is a private museum dedicated to the guerrilla fighters who resisted the Japanese during the war. Its collection covers a wide range of cultural and historical periods before and after World War II. If you're in Puerto Princesa, this is a must-see for history buffs. Back in downtown, near the provincial capital, the Palawan Heritage Center is also not to be missed. The first hall displayed wonderful work by local artists. Most of the rest of the center was devoted to the indigenous heritage of the province. There are 10 distinct indigenous groups in Palawan today, accounting for about 1/5 of the population. Dating back at least 20,000 years, these groups each have their own language and mostly live in small, isolated communities. We also toured the Puerto Princesa Subterranean River Park, but that's yet another story for a different vlog. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss this or our Coron Island adventure.